Hey guys, it's Jennifer from Live, Laugh, Love to Read. Today I am doing a book review on Heaven Adjacent by Catherine Ryan Hyde. So this was really good. I'm giving this book 4 stars. Typical Catherine Ryan Hyde books. Kind of deep, kind of feel-good stories where you're kind of left with wanting a little bit more. I like her books because, like I said, they're just feel-good stories. There's no mystery, there's no murder, there's no, it's just one of those feel-good books. And they are kind of deep. Yeah. So, let's read the synopsis. Says, Rosanna Chaldecott spent her life as a high-powered lawyer in Manhattan. But when her best friend and law partner dies suddenly, something snaps. Unsure of her future, Rosanna heads upstate on one tank of gas and with no plans to return. In the foothills of the Adirondacks, don't know how to say that word, Rosanna discovers the perfect hideout in a ramshackle farm. Its 76 acres are rich with possibilities and full of surprises, including a mother and daughter squatting on the property. Although company is the last thing Rosanna wants, she reluctantly lets them stay. Rosanna and the young girl begin sculpting junk found around the farm into zoo animals, drawing more newcomers, including her estranged son, Lance. He pleads with Rosanna to return to the city, but she's finally discovered where she belongs. It may not provide the solitude she originally sought, but her heart has found room for much more. So Rosanna, who has never ever went by Rosie before in the city, is now going by Rosie in the small town. And she, like it says, she's a high-powered attorney, and her best friend, who is a woman, has a stroke, and she dies. Now, they are young women. Well, I wouldn't say young. They're probably 50s. She has a stroke, and she dies. And it throws Rosanna into a major loop. I mean, she gets in her car with nothing, and she just drives. Well, she comes to this town, this really small town, and she stops in this diner, and then she's just driving around, and she sees this farm that's for sale. Ramshackle house that's on there, and shed and barn that's about to fall down, all that. And she makes an offer on it right away and buys it. Now, what she comes to find out is there's a single mother, young mother, there squatting on the property with her 5-year-old daughter. Now, the reason she is squatting there is because the lady that used to live there, named Macy, had passed away, and she told her she could stay as long as she wanted to until a new owner bought it. And this is what has happened. Well, Rosanna she doesn't make her leave. So they live out in this really small shed thing, and Rosie, or Rosanna, she really goes by, they call her Rosanna in the book throughout the whole thing, but when somebody asks her name, she says Rosie. Yeah. Anyway, so what ensues is that she has moved to the country basically on a whim to get solitude, peace, and quiet, and is not what happens. So here she has this lady here with a small child, and then here comes a guy who just got out of service, and he's very respectful, and he's very, yes ma'am, no ma'am, and let me do this for you ma'am, let me go fishing and fish some trout for you. Anyway, he ends up staying. Yeah. Then she meets an older gentleman who's in his 80s. I want to say his name is Martin. He ends up staying too. He has nowhere to go. So anyway, all these people live on the property, and Rosanna is really kind of gruff and kind of like, you know, I don't want company, I don't want to talk to you, blah, blah, blah. But she really starts feeling these people are, you know, this is where she belongs. Now, the junk that she makes sculptures out of is really cool. I wish I could see it in person. You ever read something in a book, you're like, ooh, I wish I could see that. So what happens is the barn is plumb full of scrap metal. Like every imaginable piece of metal that you can think of. And the little girl, she's like, oh, doesn't that look like a hippopotamus? Instead of hippopotamus. Like as if you see animals in the clouds, this little girl's like, that looks like a giraffe or whatever. So they actually start making it. Now Rosanna doesn't know how to weld, but somebody does, and they teach her. So she starts building these metal sculptures, and they're all zoo animals and everything. And it's really cool, and people start coming and taking pictures and all this. Yeah. So really the whole story is Rosanna making a new life for herself, and then her son, grown son, does end up coming to the farm, and they start having a new relationship because they didn't have a good one at him growing up because he was raised by a nanny. Yeah. So it's just one of those feel-good stories. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. 4 stars. Like I said, typical Catherine Ryan Hyde. I like her books. They're just really uplifting and kind of, I wouldn't say sweet, but just uplifting and deep, kind of deep. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if you have not read anything by Catherine Ryan Hyde, you need to, because they're really good. Alright, that's all I got for today. If you like this video, give me a like. And hey, while you're here, how about a subscribe? I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, friends.